Hello and welcome to Lead Judges TV. This is the Open Magic Mike Show. This is the third one we've done on Lead Judges TV. Mike Hers, welcome to the show as my
Hello, hello.
co-host, as
Glad to be back.
my side piece, as it were. This is the third show that we've done. Now, I'm not gonna say it's bad luck that we keep doing these shows, but we got the Forest game and the first leg of the Cup and the second leg of the League Cup. So far, we have not scored a goal in approximately 270-something minutes of doing these post-game shows. But that does not mean you shouldn't tune in. That does not mean you shouldn't have your say. We are open and available and willing to accept you into our lives with whatever viewpoints you have tonight. And I can imagine there's going to be some frustration. So here's how it works. If you want to be part of the show, all you got to do is go to GoonerOpenMic.com. That's GoonerOpenMic.com. It will get you backstage. You'll get in the queue. We'll put you on for anywhere from a few minutes to longer than that, depending on how many people we have waiting. And you can have your say. You can bring up whatever topic you want. You can talk about whatever topic we want to talk about. But it's the floor is yours. And if you are a what we call a duck breaking participant, you are more likely to get moved to the front of the line. So if you haven't been on the show before, come on, have your say. Don't just hang out in the chat. Get in here, GoonerOpenMic.com. So I'm Mike Feinberg. This is Mike Hernandez. We are sitting here very, very sad about this outcome. Honestly, this was some shit. I mean, I felt positive before we bring on Glitch as our first guest. I felt positive today. When I feel positive, I don't like to show it, because every time I'm wearing my positivity on my sleeve, we get done. And that's pretty much what happened today. I mean, Mike, did you think this was going to happen? Or
so opposed to me that going into every chat that I'm in saying 4-0 easy, opposed to me, you're more of the reserved. I'm gonna hide my optimism. Yeah. I was looking forward. Hey, what's up, Mark? I was looking forward to the game. I was excited. I thought Emirates did a great job of being loud and clear. I thought the build up with all the things that were happening outside of football, like the Liverpool false positives, the way the media kind of went after Arsenal, the build up with this was epic. So maybe I kind of fell into the trap of kind of looking at us like good versus bad. And of course, me being an Arsenal fan, I'm labeling myself as the good team, right? The righteous team that's doing things the right way. And so, yeah, look, I was extremely positive, to be honest, way more so than most games going into the Liverpool cities of the world. I tend to have certain expectations that don't always correlate with other fans. I'm kind of more forgiving, at a lack of better words, when I go into these teams and I'm like, well, they're the better team. We tried. Ultimately, we were outclassed. But this game had a different feeling after the tie versus Anfield and Anfield, the 0-0 that we had hard fought. The one thing that stood out the most for me that could be a talking point, if you like, is halfway through the first half, towards the end of the first half, maybe, it really hit me that physically this team, we were clearly recovering from some bad juju, be it COVID, be it injury, but it didn't look that we were fit. I mean, there was multiple players that kind of seemed out of it. So, but that's me deep diving into the game. So I'll let the guest bring up subjects, and not we could discuss different things. But yeah, it's
the good news is if we are tired tonight, we've got 3 games in the next 44 days. So I think although there are 2 that could be rescheduled, think there might be some time for us to recover. So one last word before we start the open mic segment. As some of our people in the chat in the red room have taken to playing musical instruments to cure their boredom. I am in a pub tonight. I'm in a relatively quiet area of a pub, so if it gets too loud and it gets annoying, just let me know. I'm a man of the people, as you may have seen last night on a particular program. But yeah. So anyway, we're going to start off today with a returning guest. His name is Glitch, and I can see I believe it's a Heineken that he's got.
No, it's a soda.
Oh, it's a soda. All right.
Yeah, because I got my booster today.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and keep it short.
So you got a booster shot into your body, and then you got the opposite of a booster with your eyes watching the game today.
Oh,
Where
absolutely.
do you want to start?
Firstly, I would like to say that I agree with Mike. I think it was the other guy. That in halfway through the first half, I was like, yeah, we just. It's not even that we're being out. Like, okay, in the second half, I was like, yes, we're outclassed, we're outplayed. But halfway through the first half, I was like, do you know what? We're just not fast enough. Like, it's as simple as that. We're just not fast enough. However, I wanted to focus on something else, and that is yesterday Arteta saying that we need to defend. We want to defend this club against lies and slander and whatever. Now, we've had 14 red cards. Man City have had 7. I mean, 14 red cards since the manager's come in since December 2019. There is a really grave case of indiscipline here. And, I've been reading, some of the old guards, like the Arsenal Independent History Society, like Tony Atwood and then their articles on the whole, refereeing situation. And yeah, I do see their point. I do see a bias, a referee bias. But this is getting to the point where it's too much. It's not that referees are getting away with it. It's just that we have a serious indiscipline problem. Now, if Arteta's saying we need to connect with the fans, and if we're like a yo-yo or even a bouncing ball, just going from one extreme to another, then there's no way to connect with the fans. And I don't know what's happened since Arteta's come in, that the squad doesn't seem to have a discipline to it. And you could say, oh, well, red cards are anomalies. But I don't think it's that. I think these sorts of sendings off, I think they reflect on the overall game. And I don't mean in terms of strength, where, you're down to 10 men, as we saw last week, because last week we defended superbly with 10 men. But I think these incidents of indiscipline, they just tend to accumulate, and then what we see is a disjointed squad, a squad that wants a star player. I want Vlahovic, but we're not getting him in January. No, that's not happening. So what is going on with the squad? Why are we having this disjointed indiscipline? Because sorry, let me just finish. Because yes, Liverpool were good today, but they weren't that good.
Let me ask you this. We were talking about this at the pub today, the Partey thing. I mean, we talk about indiscipline, and discipline cost us in a lot more ways than just going down a man down with 10 minutes left. When you saw Partey come in, were you thinking that was a bad idea? Were you thinking that was going to end up in 2 yellows in 3 minutes and a sending off? I mean, there was kind of no way to predict that.
To be honest with you, I thought it was pointless. I mean, for a start, I thought putting Nketiah on
kind of was, yeah.
I mean, for a start, putting on Nketiah seemed pointless to me.
Yeah, I think we're in a weird situation where we're kind of working with what we got. I obviously there's rumors about players coming in, but whatever is going on outside of the football club with Alba and the relationship with him and Arteta kind of put us in a situation where they're at odds. So he's not playing regardless of the AFCON or not. Of course, we know that he picked up COVID while he was over there. Yeah. And then we get to the midfield, and midfielders, we're already short going into the season. Partey left. My interpretation of it was I appreciate the commitment to the club. That I will say that about Partey, whether it panned out the way the player or the manager wanted it to.
It couldn't have panned out less the way
it could have been a pound out. But just the idea of somebody getting knocked out and being back within literally, I think, 48 hours of having played in a different continent to come back and make himself available. I mean,
no, I don't blame Partey. Let's be clear here.
Yeah,
It is what it is with Partey, and I agree with you. I appreciate that. My problem is something else. My problem is, put it this way: if we have 14 red cards, my problem would do that with the other 13, not with this one tonight necessarily. You know,
Right.
and it's not even the red card. It's not even the 10 men that's the problem. It's the fact that we're getting them so easily now. We're picking them up so easily that there's a miscommunication in the collective team, as it were. You know, we're waiting for an individual player to kind of pound them in, and we kind of put that expectation on Laka, who didn't have a good game. I agree, and he scuppered that chance. But this is not. We're not Man City. Again, I've said this a million times. We're not Man City. You know, we don't have a £2 billion squad that can just interchange itself. We have to get used to the fact that we're going to have deficiencies at any one point or another. We can't have two players for every position, like two consistently good players.
Glitch, we are on a very thin edge right now. We are, and if you want to point the finger at Arteta, and they do, I am not going to stop you. We have a very thin squad right now, and when we either have an injury or a player who's just not on it. I mean, ESR, beautiful to see him in the lineup today. Yeah. Awful to see what he produced, because clearly it was too soon for him.
Well, he had no training sessions apparently.
No, and for the first time, I think in a red shirt, we've seen Tomiyasu look pretty poor. We've seen, I just think that if you want to criticize the club, and you want to criticize the management of the club and the coach of the club and the manager of the club, rather than the players for their performance, I think you have a valid opinion now if you're going to do it based on kind of the way we've managed this very, very unique January. And we've thrown our dice out in a particular way, and it has come out as bad as it possibly can. We're going to need to move on to Steve, but on
that note, I just want to say something really quickly. This is on that note. I just want to say something quickly. On the Spurs thing. If any Spurs fans are listening, I think you moaning about this is related to this. It is absolutely pathetic, because you're going to face us with a fully fit squad. So, you know, in a way, we've done you a favor. So stop moaning. Seriously.
Yep.
Get over yourselves.
I think it's going to be a positive for both teams.
Yeah. Get over yourselves. Seriously.
And truth be told, it's going to be a positive for fans.
Yeah.
I mean, for the neutrals out there, having two fit squad versus what we were going into.
If anything, it will be harder for us. So get over yourselves. We've done you a favor inadvertently. You know, seriously.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. Thanks, Glitch, for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Glitch.
Take care. Love to see you back again.
Bye.
All right.
Later.
All right. So, I mean, Mikey, the first half kind of started to unfold. You felt like we kind of won the first half from a perspective of play, and it just wasn't adding up in the form of statistics, in the form of any kind of chances. I mean, did we get a shot on goal today? Was this another day where we got no shots on goal? I guess yeah. we had a Lacazette saved onto the bar. Maybe there was another one. I mean, there just weren't many chances today. Yeah, it's so frustrating, because we've seen what this club can do, and not just against Leeds, not just against Norwich, but we've seen what the club can do when they have their tails up, and it's just from one week to the next. It's an aggravating situation. So Stevie is in. He's stopped playing his guitar. He's ready to talk.
Jesus, dude, small Steve. Yeah, I had not seen you for a while, dude. Holy crap.
Steve's body got battered everywhere it went, and now this is what we have left.
Amazing.
Yeah, good to see. Yeah, no, I'm getting there. I'm like £156 down, so not even a year yet. But,
That's phenomenal, man. And you when you stayed at my Airbnb at Highbury, I was the one breaking furniture, not you.
but yeah, I mean, I've never
Which is
broken
always a
furniture in
sign
Highbury,
of bariatric success.
But yeah, the guitar. I've been playing this evening, and whilst I wasn't chatting, I thought I'll grab it. I didn't know you could see me, but
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Not only can I see you when you're in the waiting room for the open mic pod, I can see you all of the other time as well.
so yeah, so
I have an
see me on
ISDN.
the casting couch.
Yeah, I have his casting couch. I can see your paint colors. I subscribe to your OnlyFans.
Man, don't. It's not public.
I'm way into you. All right, so I wish we could be more jovial. It just from a result standpoint, this is how I cheer myself up after a result.
We're gonna get cancelled. Lee's gonna cancel us.
Yeah. Well, it won't take much, but all right. So saw the lineup today. We knew what their lineup was going to be pretty much.
Yeah.
We just didn't know what we were going to have available, and frankly, other than maybe Xhaka, if you're inclined, Partey starting healthy and rested, if you're inclined. This is one of our. I mean, it's what we got.
Yeah, I thought our lineup was good enough. I thought our lineup was good enough. But on paper it was good enough. But I was worried about the lack of playing time for some of the players coming back. The fact that we've not had a lot of training in the last couple of weeks. And I was again going into it like whatever happens was going to happen. We know we're far off of Liverpool's first team. Like if it was. And that's why I think last week was such a good result. Going down to 10 men, we were depleted. They weren't as depleted. They had a fairly strong lineup last week. It was just frustrating that after that goal that was completely against the run of play, that we didn't have enough to keep on firing at them. The only players that really did keep on going was Ødegaard was trying to play the ball through the line. Saka and Martinelli were getting out wide, but then there was nothing coming inside. And Liverpool's defense, they didn't. We got a few corners out of it. Set pieces, I don't think they looked as good as they have done at times. I thought if we were going to get a goal, we'd nick one from a set piece or from a cross in. But then you look at the movement of our players in the box; it just wasn't good enough. And as Lone Star has just said, Fabinho was brilliant today, and I think that was the difference between us and them, especially in the midfield battle. He
was annoying.
We had Lokonga and Ødegaard, who Ødegaard was pushing forward. Lokonga, I don't think had a bad game, but he's not that sitting hard as nails defensive midfielder yet. So
this was maybe the third time this season that he's played there, and I don't think it's ended well for us in any of those situations. And as much as I'd like to think of him as just an uber talent,
I think it depends who he's next to.
He's got to be utilized properly.
The other thing, that the times that he's played and started, I think he's been next to Ødegaard again. I think it was earlier on in the season when Partey and Xhaka were both out. I think one of the games that we were at, when you were over, it was Lokonga and Ødegaard sitting deeper, and neither of them complement each other because Ødegaard wants to push forward. Lokonga is good at winning the ball back and sort of driving from deep, but he's not the defensive style player. So I think if you've got a creative midfielder sitting deeper and Lokonga, it just doesn't work. And yeah, as you said, the 3 or 4 times that's happened, it hasn't worked out well for him. And I don't think that's a dig at Lokonga. But we wasn't at the races. I know people said before the game about putting Ben White up into midfield or Callum Chambers playing there and having that defensive midfielder. It just didn't happen. Chambers was obviously out. Partey had just come back. Xhaka did what Xhaka did last week. I'm not that disappointed, but frustrating that we didn't get anything from it or didn't come closer.
What did you make of the play of Gabriel Martinelli? Because I
thought he was brilliant all night.
It's funny because it felt to me a little bit like the old Martinelli, and by that I mean the guy who is still a terrier, just absolutely going after
constantly,
it.
Always trying to chase the ball down, always trying to drive at players.
But in a way that was almost like isolated. The thing I've felt has been different about Martinelli this season than last, and it's the reason I've been pointing towards maybe last year, even when he was healthy, even when we were playing, crap ass Willian. Maybe it was the right move not to throw him into the fire so quickly, is because his action and his work rate used to just be raw, and it was not necessarily part of a concept.
Yeah.
This season, it's been so part of a concept. His tracking back, his defensive stops. Today, it almost felt like kind of last year a little bit, where and again, this is not a slander on him. I believe
he was the only one.
I believe
he wasn't in sync.
He may have lost the ball 7 out of like Arsenal's 12 like dispossessed stats today. I think 7 or 8 of them were his, but that can be deceptive because maybe
it shows that he's the only one carrying
harder
it
than everyone else.
Yeah. It was the same with Alexis.
Exactly. He's a victim of his will to influence the game, essentially. In a game where we had almost no midfield. Actually, throughout the first half, second half, I saw Tierney, White, Gabriel do more long balls than I had in a really long time, just completely bypassing that midfield section that we have. And most of those long balls were going to Saka and Martinelli that found themselves both isolated on both flanks. And I think most of the time had a 2 versus 1 type of situation.
So I was just about to say they were always doubling up on those flanks.
If the game ended in the 20th minute.
Yeah, Liverpool were doubling up on both of them, and I think Martinelli did well at times to sort of escape and try and get something into the box, but there just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough of our players. I think because Odegaard was deeper, Smith Rowe was sort of waiting in positions where he wouldn't normally have that freedom when he's been coming off the bench. It was a little bit disjointed, and I don't think Tierney had a great game. Like we're talking about Martinelli, and there was times where Tierney would come up and he'd try something, but generally I just think he wasn't as. I just don't think he was as good tonight, and I think Martinelli.
Everybody looked like a 60% version of themselves tonight.
Yeah, and there was a few moments in which Martinelli, Tierney, Saka were on the flanks, kind of ready to shoot a cross in. And most of the time, we didn't have much outlets or anybody within the box. So normally we got Lacazette, Odegaard that was playing more deep. He's normally at the edge of the box, ready to pounce on something or gets himself into the box. But because of the position he was forced to play, he didn't really get that opportunity. So. Yeah, I mean, look, you could call it game plan. You could call it, Odegaard not playing the right position. Fault has many, or fingers you could point at. So it depends on how you look at the game, really. But it was maybe partly forced the players that we had to play in odd positions. And just Liverpool being damn good at defending. I mean, let's not disregard. Matip had like a shaky start, but after that, I think Virgil van Dijk was brilliant. Matip was brilliant. Henderson was a pain in the ass, and like somebody in the chat mentioned Fabinho was just absolutely epic. I mean, look, that ball, like Martinelli had Virgil van Dijk on toast. That in the second half, was it with the penalty shout, or was it at the end of the first half? And Fabinho just out of nowhere makes a brilliant recovery and just pokes the ball out of him. And it was a great tackle, to be fair, if I'm being honest, right? I mean, I don't, as an Arsenal fan, you could be like, oh, was it a penalty? Was it, you can make as much argument, but that's a pretty, there you go, Lone Star Londoner. It was a pretty clear tackle, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I think the game was lost between fitness and the midfield. And we had, as you said, we had a midfield that was completely unbalanced. Odegaard, who I've watched play many, many times because I'm a fan of La Liga, and I could tell you right now, he's literally never played there. Never played there. He's either.
I think he's got the attributes. I think he could play there if we had a proper, like if we had a Fabinho or we had a Vieira again, someone of that ilk that can.
Well, isn't that what we want Partey to be, though? And there's just Partey.
Oh no.
And Partey's just either not fit, not available, or on a red card.
Partey did it for 10 minutes today.
Yeah. Well,
even with Partey in there, I don't think Odegaard would suit. I think the thing I like about Odegaard is he's tireless. Early on, he made a fantastic tackle, sort of came out of nowhere, dived in, won the ball, and we got possession back and sort of headed towards the Liverpool box. I think he is relentless, he is tireless, and it's nice to have a player that's deep that can pick those passes and can move forward. But unless you've got someone that's staying back and sitting and is comfortable in a back three or in front of a centre back pairing, you can't afford to have a midfielder like that. And that's what I thought a lot of the time when Mikel Arteta first came to the club. Obviously, he was playing in that sort of 10 role and sort of almost box to box when we had two sitting back. And as soon as he started being moved back into a defensive position, I thought it was exactly the same with him. He was it was nice that he could play the balls through and try and drive it forward. We did it a couple of times with Thomas Rosicky as well. We had him sitting in the midfield too. Cazorla eventually, when he was next to Coquelin, because Coquelin was that defensive workhorse that would run and tackle and stop everything, Cazorla worked. But there's no way when we signed Cazorla that we would have said, yeah, he can play in a double midfield pivot, because he wasn't that type of player. And I think Ødegaard has those attributes, but unless we've got that perfect partner, we've got that defensive minded partner, it's not going to happen. And he shouldn't be playing there because it makes him look bad. But I think the only other player that was, I mean, I wouldn't say Ødegaard was poor. I'm not trying to make that point, but Tomiyasu tonight, you could tell he was just not there.
We played a strong lineup, but the strong lineup wasn't really fully there yet.
Wasn't ready. Exactly.
And again,
on paper.
And the games aren't played on paper, and you can criticize the club for that. So, Steve, buddy, I love you, man. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, no worries.
We got a couple more people, and in the meantime, we're gonna if you want to join in, there's room in the red room. Go to GoonerOpenMic.com, Mike spelled MIC, and join us. Have your say. Steve, I'll talk to you, buddy. Take care.
Nice one. Later,
brother.
All right, so we'll call this the intermission. I want to give a big shout out to the chat. We've got. Hold on a second. Can you grab me a Yangling, please? Yeah. I need to put in my order for my Man City friend who I haven't seen in 6 years at the pub. He did not look happy about that, but we'll see. We'll see if I get the beer. Speaking of asking for things, I would like to ask you to go to goonersvcancer.com. If you're an Arsenal supporter, if you know anything or have any feelings towards 1989 and Anfield, as I do, you're going to love this piece of merchandise, which only Gooners v Cancer has. We are a charity raising money for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And all you got to do is donate $25, which is about 18 or 19 quid, to Gooners v Cancer, which goes directly to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and you have a chance to win this.
Good ball by Gibson. Fine mistake. The top shot to the midfield. Thomas. It's up for grabs now. Thomas. Right at the end.
All right, so that is the shirt. It is the shirt of all possible shirts. Mike, you have both donated and gotten shirts from Gooners versus Cancer. Are you angry that it's not that one? I mean, how angry are you on a scale from 1 to Dan Potts? I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Slightly below this game of anger. just
Okay.
slightly below. Yeah.
Because that's a goddamn shirt. If I may say so myself. So
It's a
again,
beautiful.
you can kill two birds with one stone. You can help people find the cure for blood cancers, help families that are suffering from blood cancers, and you might just walk away, as you can talk to a lot of people from Gooners versus Cancer who have walked away with some amazing prizes. You might just walk away with possibly the best and most unique piece of Arsenal-belia that exists. So without further ado, we're bringing on the man who finished off our last open mic pod. He's been very patient waiting for us. Mohammed, thanks for joining us, my friend.
Hi, Mike. Hi, guys.
We got two mics tonight. Remind us again where you are calling in from.
From Palestine. It's now more than 1 hour after midnight here.
Okay, so it's 1:21 in the morning, and how miserable are you?
Yes, we
Not
are all.
as a person. I mean, like about the game.
Of course, Mike. We are all disappointed. We missed a good chance to be at Wembley. If we were in the final, it will be a morale boost for our young squad. But disappointing game. We were second best. Liverpool were far best team. They deserve realistically their win. We were slow, ran out of ideas in the attacking side of the game. The game showed us that many players were not ready. They didn't have training, maybe one training session or none even in the last week or 10 days. Some people had a go at Twitter at some players in a not realistic way. Tomiyasu from the first game he played, he was fantastic. Today he was okay. He was not good, but there is a reasons. He was absent for 4 weeks. He was injured. He didn't train. And Arteta, after tonight's game, he said that, of course, Cedric is injured and Chambers is injured. So both are not even in the bench. So he said, Tomiyasu said, I will play. He's not ready. He didn't have a one training session. Smith Rowe, same thing. We lost the midfield battle. Attacking side of the game. Attacking side. Yes, Mike.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but one of the things I think we have to mention, because actually we haven't really talked about it that much in 35 minutes, is what the responsibility and the onus is on the coach. Mikel Arteta is the coach of this team, and obviously when things go badly, he catches a lot of flack, and there's debate about that. When things go well, he gets a lot of credit, and there's debate about that. I wasn't complaining about the lineup when I saw it because I thought it was perhaps the best thing that we could have possibly put out there. But I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with fitness. I don't know what alternatives are. I certainly know when we play, we have a big drop-off between our first team and our second team. So you'd rather see Tomiyasu on the starting 11 than Cedric. You'd rather see Partey on the bench than Patino. But when it turns out like this, can you go back and how do you personally feel about Arteta's influence on this game, the substitutions, and whether he holds any blame for us having, as the title of this podcast is, a trophyless season?
Mike, I'm realistic when analyzing Arsenal team. Today's game, the timing of today's game, I think it's critical for us for many reasons. One, now our team is very short, thin, very short in all areas, especially in midfield and in attack. 4 players left this January, 3 on loan, and 1 on a permanent deal, which is Kolasinac.
Anyone that you would have liked to have seen in the lineup today, though? Are any of those people?
I'm speaking about the squad,
the depth,
not
right.
only the 11, the squad.
Right.
So the 4 players that we loaned, maybe 3 will be in the bench and 1 maybe starting, which is Niles, because we don't have any midfielder. So we list 4 players. adding this to the fitness problems of Tomiyasu, Smith Rowe, they were out for more than 2 weeks. They didn't train. And a sign that I think must analyze and will lead us to our critical and difficult situation, which is Partey on the bench. Seeing Partey on the bench, you will analyze and realize the critical and the difficulties that Arteta and Arsenal faces now. Because Partey, 48 hours, he played in another continent. He arrived in London today afternoon. So he was
Mohammed, let me ask you.
straightforward in the bench.
Let me interject for a second. I want to ask Mike a question. When you saw Partey on the bench, did you see it as desperation or inspiration? The intent of it. I mean, we now know how it worked out, but
inspiration from him and desperation from Arteta to accept that, if that makes any sense, because I think Mainsley fit would have been like if given the choice, I think Arteta would have had Mainsley fit over Partey in the situation that he came off the AFCON. So I like I said, a lot of love for Partey for showing the will to be there, but I think in a healthier squad and a squad that might have trained a little bit more, I don't think Arteta himself would have played him.
And I thought it was actually a bit of showmanship. Like I thought it was about inspiration. I actually did not think he was going to come into the game. And Mohammed, I circle back to you. I apologize for interrupting you, but I just wanted to make sure to get a variety of opinions on what that was all about.
Okay,
I think you presented it.
I have a notice that Arteta had to accept that Partey told him that I'm ready. Put me on the match sheet because we don't have any players. Look at our bench, 4 or 5 under 23. You can't put them against Liverpool. And our colleague, which I heard someone before me said that I'm against playing Nketiah. I was shocked. Why? Because Nketiah maybe our fittest player on the bench. Look at our bench. I will say to this guy, look at our bench. Who will you play from the bench? And said to him, go in the second half and play. Who? Our bench was empty. Small players, young players. So we are now really jeopardizing our season. This word to the Edo and to the board. I said this a month ago and more even, because now we are desperate for adding at least 2 new signing, and we are waiting, and time is running. Today, Liverpool were high quality from above 2 levels above us. Look at the midfield battle. We lost it. Fabinho. We don't have a player like Fabinho. Look at Diego Jota. Diego Jota is an example of a shrewd clinical signing that we must do to make Arsenal go forward steps and quickly.
He was probably I mean, Van Dijk, they paid money for. Jota, they identified the perfect guy to take them to the next level. He's a Premier League experienced player who slotted right into their 11/12, when they're all healthy. And he was the guy I was most worried about today.
And he scored both goals.
And the strange thing is, he was the guy who I thought was going to destroy us last Thursday, and yet even after going down to 10, we were able to close them off. Today with Tomiyasu coming back, I felt a little bit more at ease about Jota being in there, and of course he's the guy that killed us. He's a great signing. Mohammed,
today he was the main dangerous player for Liverpool.
Oh, I mean, absolutely, and especially, you would have expected that in the absence of Mane and who's the guy, Mo Salah, the best player in the world.
Yeah.
All right, so Mohammed, we're going to switch over to Marky in just a second, but we're going to give you about 2 minutes to give your final thoughts on the game.
Yes.
On what you think the rest of the season holds. We've got 3 games in the next 44 days. We've got 18 more Premier League games, and that is it. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Or are we kind of going to limp over the finish line? And I will give you the floor, and I'm going to dip out for a quick
Yes, Mike.
break, and then I'll be right back.
Yes. I think now we are in a critical point of the season. Now I'm worried about Burnley match. With this short, limited squad, with the not readiness of some players fitness-wise. So, Mike, I'm worried about Burnley match. They are a tough team, physical team. So I hope that we win this important match, because now we can't afford dropping points in this critical period of the league. So I hope that we gain the 3 points, and then in the last maybe week of the window, Edo and the board must add new signing to this squad. We are now lacking many players. We have maybe when our 11 best 11 players are ready. Okay, you can put a good strong lineup, but without a bench, without a strong bench. So when we have absentees, you are in a big problem. So Arthur saga must end. Juve, Arsenal must tell Juventus, tell me your response by 24 hours, 48 hours, and stop. You agree? Okay, we struck a deal. Not, we must find another midfielder. So at least 1 or 2 additions are needed now to save our battle for the 4th spot, and mainly to save our battle for the top 6. Because I think, and as of all of us, our realistic aim starting the season was being in the top 6. Now it's bonus that we are fighting for the 4th place. But with the amount of players out in January, now we are short in numbers. We must have at least two good signing, 1 forward, 1 midfield, even on loan, to strengthen our lineup, to strengthen our hopes of fighting in this critical moment of the season. I hope Burnley match we win it. Tough match. I'm worried about this match. Analyzing our fitness level, our readiness of all the players. So after Burnley, I hope Edo and the board move quickly and make this signing to help us continue, because we can't afford losing points in this critical period of the season, Mike.
So here's what I'm getting. So if we sign Jack Wilshere, we're winning the league. Is that what you've just said? I mean, I don't mean to translate. No, I'm just kidding. Mohammed, your viewpoint is valid. Your viewpoint is appreciated. Thanks for joining us again. We're going to move on to our to possibly our final open micer of the night. It's great to see you. Please come back again, and hopefully in our 3 games over the next 44 days, we'll have some happier things to talk about. So,
inshallah, thank you,
buddy. All right, joining us, and he'll be the last unless we have to deal with the local people. All right, let's get some locals in here.
Yeah.
Marky, wait a second. Yeah. Because we are at a pub, and we've got.
Hold on.
What do we got? QPR.
Yeah, we got
Millwall.
Also,
Blackpool. And then the original. This is my original Gooner mate right here. The first guy I met when I came to watch an Arsenal game at a pub back in 2013.
All I request is patience. Patience with this team. We are coming. We are coming, but it's patience. You have to be patient.
And you sound very sober in that. Yeah.
But I'm drunk. I'm sorry.
I was about to say I could appreciate that opinion, and then he said he was drunk.
Yeah. Now look, all opinions are welcome here, but yeah, I think if we wait another 30 to 40 years, And now I'm not speaking on behalf of Lee Judges TV. We wait another 30, 40 years. I'll have passed away. Mike will have 97 kids.
I'll be your age.
You'll be my age, and we'll have won like another like a Audi Cup or some shit like that.
Invincible though. Audi Cup without losing a game.
We'll be the Invincibles of the Loudy Cup. Of the Loudy Cup.
Can I qualify Mike? There are a lot of gooners in this bar.
No, there aren't.
No, that's
There's
not true.
there's two, and you're looking at them right now.
They're all in the room.
My bad. These other guys are. Who do you support?
Can I say one thing? Why would you want to win the Carabao Cup? It's the Carabao Cup, but I call it the Carabao Cup. It's just a runners-up prize for me. Liverpool win it. Do you know why? Because they're losers anyway.
That's right. That's the general sentiment here. And then we've got, what are you, QPR?
Yeah, I'm a Queen's Park Rangers fan, but
Irish fan from QPR.
But I'm an admirer of Arsenal.
Well,
appreciate that.
I'm an admirer of you. Just a little sense. Our next guest, Mark, has seen me at both. Now he's seen me both at American pubs and in England, and there's footballers here. There's a love for football here. So, Mark, I'm going to bring you in before I push all these guys out of the way.
Hey guys,
what's up, Mark?
Mark, how's it going? Just remember, drink responsibly. Always drink responsibly, because me and Mike always drink responsibly, don't we, mate?
Always.
Of course.
No,
That's not the English accent I have there for a long time. How do you keep it, mate?
What?
I have to say, Mark was at the match tonight. So my first question for Mark, having been at the match tonight, was everyone thought that we were going to this game between all of this media bullshit. Everyone thought that we were going to, from a crowd perspective, lift this team. So my question to you, Mark, is why did you fail?
It was shit. The atmosphere was terrible. It was awful. I'm hoarse. I went to Anfield last week, and the support was amazing. Tonight it was rubbish. Like,
why? This would have been the game to just.
If you can't get yourself up for a semi-final against Liverpool, then don't come. Don't come.
That's damning words right there. Yeah.
I asked our friend Fergus halfway through the first half. I asked Fergus, I'm like, I need a man on the ground or a person on the ground who can tell me what the atmosphere is like, and he said, yeah, it's a different crowd, but it's better than normal, and that's not necessarily a good thing. But like, I thought that it was going to be a cauldron today.
It should have been. And I'm lucky. Like, I don't buy into this, like, oh, if you're like, I've said this a million times, if you're a foreigner, like, your support doesn't count as much as things. Like, I've sat in a bar in Chicago at 6 o'clock in the morning and heard chants, and everyone's got drunk and everyone's got behind the team. It was just quiet. I think there was an element of people being scared. I think people just assumed who was going to lose. So therefore, didn't really get behind the team. As soon as that first goal went in, it was flat to start with, and it was, as soon as the Liverpool scored, it was dead. It was dead after that.
That is the sense that I got. I mean, I was trying. I mean, we're at a pub and it's on TV and there's other noise, although not really at that point. It was fairly quiet, just the four of us. It was the four of us hanging out.
It wasn't flat to start with.
And
Arsenal were pressing the whole game up until the goal scored. When Liverpool scored the goal, Arsenal sat back and then they started defending.
Which is what we have been accused of time and time again. As a neutral, when we go behind, although normally we sit back after we go ahead, it's not appropriate to sit back after you go behind, is it?
No. We looked more threatening last week at Anfield with 10 players. We had more chances than we did tonight, and that's telling.
It's almost like we need the adversity to actually get up, and that does, as much as it pains me to say this in my general view of things, that is the job of the coach.
Yep. Well,
mentality is the coach's job. Physicality, listening to instructions, tactics, the coach can the coach can have the perfect game plan, and the players can let him down on any given day. But the mentality part of it, if they've not got it, they shouldn't be on the pitch.
Absolutely, and I'm sorry I'm a bit late to the show, but he was so naive to like picking the players that he picked. You could see Tomiyasu was off the pace within like the first 15-20 minutes. If he's hooking off Tavares like he did against Forest, he's got to be hooking off Tomiyasu. He was a liability. He just was not ready at all.
Do you think, given the opportunity, if they were like the opportunity, seeing as we kind of fit into this 4-2-3-1 formation, and for a while we were like dabbing in all types of formation depending on who we were playing, but it seems like this is the formation that the players available seem to have played well with. You think this, just looking at the fitness levels of the players like Tomiyasu that you pointed out, do you think they should have just tried something a little bit more bold, like however you want to interpret it, like 3 at the back, how any change of formation that you might have thought it would have been a better option instead of just sticking with the 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, we need to change it up tonight. Throwing in, you can kind of get away with throwing in a player that hasn't been playing the last few games, maybe one player, but to throw in a semi-fit Tomiyasu, a semi-fit Smith Rowe, players that have been playing 90 minutes after 90 minutes after 90 minutes, like it's going to come to a point where they're just jaded. They're absolutely jaded. We're jaded, and we need to get bodies ASAP. Otherwise, this season is just going to be another wasted season, and we're going to end up falling
Mark,
apart.
on that, because Mohammed mentioned it as well as far as bringing in bodies. But if you're looking at the calendar, I took a glance at it, and after Burnley, there's 2 weeks off because of the international break. So by that time, AFCON's done. All of our midfielders seem to be fit, so we'll be back at square one. Essentially, of course, we got to wait for Xhaka's suspension to be over, but at that point in time, we're no longer short, as in bodies. We're going to be with the same midfielder that is currently performing, I'm going to say, well enough to have us hovering 4th or 5th. So that said, after the Burnley game in the 2-week period where we're going to have an opportunity to train, match fitness, and all of this and get back up to speed, do you still look at the midfield like just like, do you still want the club to pursue like Melo? Let's use him as an example because he's the name being touted the most. Do you feel strongly that a midfielder coming in, even if it at loan, is just like an absolute must, just in case we run into a COVID/injury situation again?
I think it's more to do with quality. I think for me, Partey, I've expected so much more from him. Like, he's had the odd good game. Xhaka, don't get me started on him because I don't think we have enough time. I think it's more about getting quality midfielders in because at the minute we're just lacking. Sambi tonight, he just looked like every time the ball was at his feet was a bit of a hot potato, but he's an up-and-coming player. So we're really missing quality in the centre midfield at the moment. We need to get. I don't know enough of Melo. I don't want to be. I know it's the players been banding around, but I don't want to be one of these guys. But yeah, Melo. I know nothing about Melo. I'm not going to lie. And I think if we're gonna,
you're the least Melo person that I know, is what you're saying.
I can tell you right now about Melo. If we get him, he's a superstar. If we don't, he's pretty shit. I could confirm that for you right now.
I remember Felipe Melo, and I remember Yellow Melo or Melo Yellow. But
I remember both Juve players, but Felipe Yellow was a dirty bastard. I'll tell you that.
Felipe Melo was very, very dirty. But the Juventus Melo, I know nothing about, so I'm not going to get too excited. But we just need quality. We need quality in the middle.
And this is a weird January because like the last 2 Januaries, it's been like, okay, we spent a lot of money in the summer, just like we did this summer, and it's going to be all loan moves now. But we were never in contention for graduating from the situation we were in into a vastly different situation, than we were in, such as Champions League maybe, or even Europa League. Right now, all we're seeing in January is how many players short we are.
Yeah.
And yeah, the ones that we're letting walk away are not ones that we would like to have start. And, look, if we started today's game with Maitland-Niles, Kolasinac, who are the other players that we've let walk in the last couple of days? Balogun and a couple other people. People would have been like, yeah, Mari. They would have been like, that was a crap lineup. How could you possibly? I mean, we wouldn't have expected to beat Liverpool. So it's not like those departures cost us, but we are really short of reliable starting players right now, and it's.
What do we do with Aubameyang? What do we do with Aubameyang? I don't know.
That little.
Arsenal FC.
That's what we do with the buddy.
We're by far the greatest team.
Get him drunk. Get him massively drunk.
So yeah, we. I think we ship him off if that loan deal is true, but I think that's a little fool's gold. But.
You farted.
All right, so as things get a little degenerate here at the pub, Mark, my friend, any last words before we let you go?
Yeah,
we got Lucas waiting in the.
Last words from me. I was sat directly behind Beth Mead and Vivian Miedemar tonight, and they were absolute gold, man. Like if you check my Twitter, got a nice picture of them too, and they were getting behind the team. And I actually, at one point during the second half, I nudged Viv, and I was just like, "Have you got your boots?" But they were both stars, man. But I think keep the faith. I think we can still get top four. We just need to make the right moves in January and see how we go. But always a pleasure. New Mike, good to meet you, mate. Old Mike, always a pleasure.
Old decrepit Mike.
Old Mike.
No, Marky, it's great. It's great to see you, my friend. Please come back.
And donate to Gooners versus Cancer. Great cause, man.
100%, man. Thank you so much. And next time you're running a marathon for a cause of your own, let us know because, there's more than one place to stick those quids.
Exactly, man. Good to meet you both. All the best. Up the Gunners.
Take care, bud.
See ya, bye.
All right, I think we're gonna finish with one more guest. I think I might have escaped the number of drunken people, although there's Rio is a sign of why I love the Gooner family so much. He's a bit not understanding what I'm trying to do here with this podcast and not having a lot of noise. But this is a guy who's the first person I ever met, came into an Arsenal pub 2013. Now, I've been an Arsenal supporter by that point for 24 years, but I hadn't really discovered anyone locally here in the States that loved the club as much as I did. And he reached out, became a friend of mine, and he's a good guy, except not when he acts like this. So anyway,
so
Lucas,
not a good drunk.
He's a great drunk, and frankly, he did me one of the biggest solids I've ever had done for me in my life, and I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, he's a true mate. So please forgive him tonight. Lucas, where are you calling us from tonight, man?
From New York. What's up, guys?
All right, man. What part of New York are you? Are you Long Island? Are you Brooklyn? Are you
like New York City, Manhattan?
Wow, right in Manhattan.
Yeah, dude. It's cold here though. It's snowing today. A little rain. It's one of those.
All right. So first of all, I just have to say this as an aside. The New York Arsenal fan base is incredible. If you're watching, wherever you're watching from, I've been in New York a tremendous amount of times. I live in DC. I've been up for when the club came in 2014. I've been up to visit family that lives in New York because as a Jew, it's like a rule that I have to have family that lives in New York.
Obviously.
And there's whether it's Nevada Smiths back in the day, Blind Pig after that, O'Hanlon's, wherever you go.
All right.
I'm there, and I've enjoyed pints and enjoyment with Gooners. So, Lucas, it's great to meet you, my friend.
Yeah, it's great to be on. I've never done like a call-in, so I don't want to take up too much time because I know I'm the last person. But yeah.
Well, it's about quality, not quantity. But I do have to do this. It gets annoying, but you are as a first-time caller, you're doing this. We love Broken Ducks. We want more people to call in that aren't used to it again, because once you do it, it's like it's not hard. I mean, you're talking to 1.5 idiots right now.
All right.
So
I'll take that. I'll take that compliment.
Well, yeah. Let's see.
You're the half, by the way. I'm the complete.
Obviously, Mikey. I mean,
all right. So Lucas, start off with whatever topic you want to talk about, and we'll take it from there.
I mean, just in terms of this game today, right? Like, honestly, like, I feel like a lot of the vibe I got just checking socials, talking to my like friends and stuff who are Arsenal fans was like people were kind of pumped for this game. Mm-hmm. But when I saw the starting lineup come out, like, if I'm gonna be honest, like when they had like Henderson, Fabinho, and it was like Curtis Jones against Lokonga and Odegaard, I was like, we just have no middle. Like, and I just had like a negative. I had a bad feeling in my stomach the whole game. Even though we started out well, I was like, it's coming. Like, we're just gonna sit in our shell for 40 minutes, you know. And eventually that did happen, and I was really sad that I wasn't proven wrong. But I mean, I don't know if, like, I heard people talking on here about like getting new, transfers in. This like Arthur guy, I don't know anything about him, but like, I don't know if I really even need to talk about transfers. It's just like, we had no midfield today, and our options, I mean, yeah, I guess the way to get new people in is transfers, but our options were just limited, and we got like overrun, outworked. They looked really scared on the ball today.
Yeah, I know.
The match is done.
Yes, but podcasts, Rio, podcasts are about talking about the match incessantly for no good reason other than people want to. Well, yeah, because that's our job. That's what we're paid millions. We are paid so much money to do this.
We provide a service.
Yes.
Yo, by the way, we're good. We're good. Like, this is just a blip. This is the blip in the Arsenal and the Arsenal sphere.
Kind of like how global warming is a blip. Like if you look over 4 billion years, all this crap that's going on in the world right now is just a blip. So yeah, it's very cool.
Yo, can I say that I love Mike Feinberg? Mike Feinberg is one of the coolest fuckers. Like, just hanging out like in the bar. Like, unlike you guys, like, because you guys have no friends, but like they don't have friends. Like I feel like they don't know that Mike has friends. Like,
Mike's cool.
Well, because if you look at me,
but the amount of time he hits us up on WhatsApp, I don't think he has real friends. I don't personally.
Well, yo, I swear to you, Mike has real friends. Like in terms of the bar, like when we're hanging out, like Mike is hanging out in a bar, like a real bar, with like real friends. With like, I feel like you guys don't have that. But like, it's cool. All right. My bad. I'm sorry. Get the hell out.
Yeah, no, I have.
All right. You're taking away from Lucas.
No, Lucas, real quick, Lucas, you want to be my friend so we could say we have friends?
We're friends.
Okay.
We're cool.
Who? Yeah, Lucas right here from New York.
Lucas and I just became friends.
Lucas probably saw you at the
That's cool. That's cool.
When you were in New York.
That's cool.
No, like, yo, that's cool. Like, come hang out in DC.
Mike,
like, I got friends down there. I might be coming down soon.
Mike, interview Lucas.
There's good Arsenal bars down there. I'd like to know.
Okay, there you go. He canceled his friend right now for the time. So, to your point, Lucas, when we were like, you're assessing Liverpool and the squad that we're facing. I know that Salah and Mane are like a huge downgrade on their attack, but our attackers were still facing their midfielders in their defense. So we know it's a weakened Liverpool, but it's nowhere near as weak as it maybe it's portrayed to be. So to your point, it was always going to be uphill battle and attack. So and we're facing Liverpool with a toddler and another player that is not even a midfielder versus Fabinho, Henderson, and their defense.
Did Owen's daughter play for us today?
Did Owen's daughter play for us?
Yeah.
I was making jokes like that today during watching the game as well. It's like, are you out there today? Like, I'm texting my friends.
I mean, look, this is the strongest lineup that we've played in probably a month and a half, and it was the strongest, weakest lineup we could have played because, like literally, we just put names out there. We tried to play this game on paper, and we lost.
Yeah, I agree. I think. I mean, did you like? I don't know if you guys agree and like if you talked about like Smith Rowe at all, but like he just looked lost out there. Like every time he got the ball, he was kind of freaking out, like looking for a neat way to dribble around Fabinho. I'm like, you're not just you need to play the simple option like right now. But sometimes it was even like where does he even play the ball because everybody was behind him. You know.
Well, look. Remember the age of these players. Remember the experience of these players.
Yeah.
Let's not use that as a constant excuse because this is what we've done. We've decided to peel away all the over 25s, which is what I suggested on Twitter 2 years ago. I said just sack everyone that's over 25. Start with youth. They borrowed my idea, and yeah, that's what's happening now. Here's what we're going to do for the rest of the show. We've got one more person in the red room. We're going to bring him on with you, Lucas, because you haven't had him on the chat. And then we're going to end the show in about 5 minutes because I got to make sure that Rio gets home safely. And frankly, I want to drink with him for the rest of the night. I just don't want him coming in and doing that on the show anymore. So
that's perfect. I feel that.
So Mark, you are joining. Where are you joining us from, my friend?
I'm joining you guys from Bermuda.
From Bermuda?
Yeah. Please forgive me. I've come down the road. You know what I'm saying? So,
Bermuda is a beautiful place. I've been there once.
You have?
When it's not getting enveloped by hurricanes, it is phenomenal.
Are you serious? You've been in Bermuda? What else have you seen?
It's like an island in the Atlantic, but strangely, it's like equal with like north-south to
North Carolina.
Virginia, which is where I live. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful place, man. I went there probably. Actually, I saw the FA Cup. There was like a Chelsea-Everton FA Cup, I think, maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, and I was in Bermuda and I watched it at one of the pubs there. But we're not here to talk about Chelsea or Everton.
How many? Quick question, Mike. It just piqued my curiosity. How many countries have you seen Arsenal? Like, have you gone and been able to visit a pub?
Somewhere like 400 to 500.
Okay,
I don't know how many countries there are, but take the number of countries there are and double it, and that's how many countries. Yeah, everywhere I go. Jamaica, I watched Arsenal lose to Liverpool 5-1 in Jamaica.
It must be interesting.
I was in Burkina Faso last week, and I watched the game. So yeah, it's everywhere I go. So sorry. All right. So Mark, your thoughts on the game today?
Well,
we pretty much covered the kind of the desperation of sticking guys that might not have been ready to go. The crowd, unfortunately, as Marky, who was in the crowd, said, didn't show up like we thought they would. But what is your view? And let's get it in the context of how you felt about Arteta beforehand, because you can't go a podcast, and I know I brought it up a couple times, but your view on Arteta first, and then what you thought about today.
Well, I don't know. I have sort of a weird view on Arteta. Like, I realize that we can't sack him because we're gonna have to start from square one again. We need to have some sort of way where we make a foundation and just stick to the plan. But I will say this: whenever I hear them say trust the process, I cannot stand it. It reminds me of the 76ers. How long they sucked for. I don't want to use that when it comes to Arsenal. We can't afford the same thing.
The club kind of started that, and yeah, it's those kinds of things are essentially bats to hit the club with and/or support. I mean, like those things don't help because they basically become what the fan base divide ends up being about.
Yeah. I mean, I have no confidence in Arteta, to be honest. I have no confidence in the team because, like, whenever there's a time where we need a win, where we need to do something, it's always like a 50-50 chance that we can just not show up. Our team is so young. I don't like this youth movement. I mean, we have some great talent, but we need to add more talent too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm just tired of always every time we have a transfer saga, it seems like it just lasts for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month. Like we're dealing with this guy from Fiorentina right now. And then we'll also got to deal with Arthur Melu. I remember the day, this is back I was looking at SoccerNet, and Man United signed Nani and Addison in a day. Like, it was that fast, but with us, it just seems like it's always so drawn out. So I don't know what's going on. We played terribly today. There's no doubt about it. We just couldn't get enough together. It was a pretty boring game.
Yeah, it really was. Like one of the things I do when I'm hosting a post game show is I got kind of my notebook open, whether it's on on my computer or paper, whatever, wherever I'm watching the game, and I'm trying to like put talking points in there. I've marked the minute down and I put talking points in there just in case anyone doesn't really have anything to talk about. I could say, okay, well, 5th minute, Lacazette hit the post with a free kick, and that was really the highlight of the game for us, by the way, in the 5th minute or whatever that was.
I think
I got nothing today. I really had nothing written down today, other than Thomas Partey comes in and gets 2 red cards in 3 minutes, and
it's terrible.
I mean, so today was kind of just meh, I guess you could say.
It was.
But so your point of view going in though, Mark, was, if I understand it correctly, was that you're not necessarily behind the process, or even without that phrase, the current coach.
Well, I have no confidence in the coach right now, to be honest, because I know just how inexperienced he is as a manager. Has your view evolved in the last 6 months or so? It is. I must say it has changed. Like I can see the direction that we're going right now, but I just hate the fact that the steps that we're going to right now. Like it's going to be some more. It's going to be some more losses. It's going to be some more like
growing.
It's crazy.
It's growing pains. We don't only had a squad that on average became even younger with the departure of Kolasinac. Now, so we're even younger of a squad currently with what we going on, but. It seemed like somebody mentioned this on Twitter when I was talking about how hopeless that first half made me feel, and it made me kind of sick. And somebody just pointed out, like, with such a youthful squad, you're going to either run extremely cold or extremely hot. It doesn't seem like we have any in between right now. So we're in a growing pain type of process that we're like the thing that I grasp and I hold on to, and I know that I could annoy people sometimes with my long term looking at these things, but. We're at it, and it goes for both manager and players for what it's worth. I want to go on record and say I'm not completely dismissing any fault whatsoever when it comes to Arteta. So I think it's both inexperience on both ends. So it's a difficult thing that we're going to have to ride out for a little bit. Mike, if we have time for one more talking point, I was kind of curious. I was going to bounce back to Lucas. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure. I mean, Lucas, I think, has got to leave us. So, okay. If you've got a final comment you want to make, otherwise, please come back on next time. I know we didn't have a tremendous amount of time to chat with you, but it's
been a wild one today, Lucas.
It's no worries. It was honestly very entertaining. But yeah, I guess just to piggyback what we were just saying, the last thing I'll add on is like, Mike, you were just saying as long as these players keep believing in this like. Project that quote unquote or whatever you want to call it, we can like hopefully improve, and I guess like we can only go up from here, like we were just saying. But also like just based on what transfer activity we've had this January, like Mark was saying, we haven't brought people in, and it's been taking weeks to all these stupid rumors that are honestly just annoying to wake up to at this point. But we've also taken off like $250,000 a week off the wage bill this January alone. Some of those have been loan deals. Some of them have been, terminated. And like, if I'm looking at that, at least the positive is we streamlined the squad. And in the event that we need to start giving these guys who are on smaller contracts, probably like a Martinelli or a Saka or Smith Rowe, like bigger contracts, we actually have that space now. And we have space to bring a big name in. But yeah, that's all I'll say.
I'm a big fan of the financial side of the game. I mean, it's been a while, but I've done some podcasts and I've done some analysis and spreadsheets and stuff because I mean, despite being on the surface a complete jackass, I actually have like a business and maths background.
Nice.
And people focus too much on the wrong things. They focus on 72 million for Pepe. They focus on I mean that's not a great thing that we did, but that they focus too much on that. They focus too much on when they're thinking about financial fair play on how Man City constantly cheat and I'm sitting next to a City fan, so I was just
No cheating involved.
Yeah, no cheating involved, of course.
No cheating involved.
But yeah, I mean the how everything is amortized over a month. I mean, that is what the difference between 2018 to 20 under kind of the Wenger Emery years, and to be fair, the management above them, and 2020 to 22 has been. We have taken the pill. We've taken the bitter pill. It's hurt us short term, but it's going to help us long term. Now, whether we buy the right players, it's been about how badly we've sold players. Whether we buy the right players that fit in and don't get stuck in the same position again where we're letting Ramsey go for free and Wilshere go for free and paying guys to leave, we could repeat our mistakes. But at the moment, we're lean AF and ready to go. And if we could make Europe while culling that payroll and doing that, that is a better result than a lot of people realize. And maybe the one thing for being patient, like my friend Rio said, trust me, 7-8 years from now, we're going to be good. We're going to be
amazing.
So just hang in there. Hang in there.
Around Millhouse.
Yeah, hang in there until we're all, driving flying cars and COVID 39 is running rampant. We will win the league that year. So,
word. All right. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Take care, Lucas.
Take care, guys.
Later, man.
All right, Mark. You know what? Mikey, do you want to keep going? Because we have someone on that I actually would like to talk to.
I have a.
You know what? That sounded wrong. Because
I know that sound. Yeah.
No. I meant like if someone joined us last minute, and I didn't know who they were, I would probably say, okay, I'm sorry, we're done. Next time. I did not mean that the other people that have been on tonight I did not want to talk to, which is how that came out to. Mark.
Damn, Mark, like that, dude.
It's so good. It's so good. I've been watching. I've been seeing Mike on all kinds of videos on YouTube. So it's a pleasure.
I'm known for sticking my foot in my mouth. Hey, I was on a wrestling show last night representing the Arsenal.
Yes.
We'll show you in a second, but and Mark, we'll keep you in here. This is Max.
Max, what's up, dude?
Max is from Australia. Max is a weird man.
That's a good definition.
Now, Max, do you like professional wrestling, or do you think it's done?
I think if you look at it from a perspective of purely entertainment, it's a very pure form of entertainment. It does exactly what it says it is on the carton.
because last night on AEW we had that you're not going to be able to see very well, but we were representing last night.
Are you serious?
Love that, dude.
Wow.
Oh, there's another sign. It gets better.
Yeah, I warned everybody that we were going to be on your TV screens. Oh, you can't really see that one. We got the Magic Mike sign where again people thought I was sticking my face through that, but that's actually just a picture. It's a very handsome picture of me.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past you to cut a hole out and put your face in something.
Well, I would normally cut a hole out. And
or different appendage in a public toilet.
Exactly. I'm all about cutting holes out. Speaking of cutting holes out, did you see any holes on our play today that should have been cut out?
You know what? I just finished watching the game, and thanks for having me back on. This is a great time slot for me because it actually lines up with Australia for I can get up and watch the game. And
what time are you there?
Anything that enables that. Well, and the good news is we don't have any more games in the afternoon during the week, so we don't have to worry.
That's it. No, it's 11:10 in the morning here, and obviously I own a bar, so
Oh, okay.
I don't work during the day. To be honest, I don't work a lot at all. But I just watched the game. And you know what? I went on Twitter, as I do, and I put up a thing, and I said, I'm the as not disappointed as I can possibly be. Right? I have almost zero disappointment. Yes, I have the standard disappointment that we're not progressing to a final and that we're not going to be able to get into a final. But for me, the whole kind of, if you look at the last sort of 5 or 6 years of Arsenal, right, and how much pain there's been and how much suffering there's been through, if you look at what the vast majority of Arsenal fans have said, they've wanted to see certain things. They've said, I want to see growth. I want to see direction. I want to see an idea, a central idea with who we're buying and why we're buying them. Basically, we wanted to see progression. Then the other side, we wanted to see effort. And then the other part was we wanted to see guys who love the badge. And you can't tell me that anyone watched that game and didn't see all of those things coming together. Yes, we're not an elite team at this point, but I can look at that team and say, well, I think we're an elite striker and an elite midfielder away from being an elite team, being at the top table. So I think there's an element now with Arsenal fans, and, you know, I would urge Arsenal fans not to lose their shit if we don't make top 4, because we're very, very, very close to being in that little bit. If we make top 6, it's still a good achievement for us this year. It's still a progression, because it's not about, like, you could make top 6 and be 20 points off 4th, you know, 15 points off 4th, or you can make top 6 and be 3 points, 4 points off 4th. For Arsenal in the progression in the period we're in right now, it doesn't feel like it's all necessarily about the position we finish in. It feels like the manner in which we finish that position is the thing that's important.
So, I'm really sorry, BX Schooner 81. I'm not able to highlight because I'm not in as a host. I'm in as a guest. So otherwise I would highlight it. But so it's disappointing that they've given us false hope going into the season. A bigger club buys reinforcement, keeps the momentum going. So, I'll bounce it back to you, Mark. Something that I kind of was discussing this a little earlier, right after the game, that going into the season, after the transfer window that we had, taking into account that a lot of people were questioning Ramsdale, a lot of people were questioning Ben White, Tomiyasu, nobody knew about, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of the things that I saw within, like, online and mates of mine that are offline as well, the perspective was this is an 8th place team, or we'd be lucky if we're 6th place. I look at it, as crazy as this sounds to some, as a positive that currently people are feeling let down that we might not make top 4. Because top 4 was never part of the question at the beginning of the season. It's the form in what the team has done throughout the season that has us up there 5th, 4th, whatever you want to, you know, games in hand and all that crap you want to accumulate, that kind of raised the bar of expectations. So, like, during the period, has the league table encouraged you at all, Mark, with, like, the form that we've had?
It is. I must admit it is, because as an Arsenal fan, I'm very skeptical. Like, I don't have any sort of expectations, because I've just been let down so many times. You know, just been let down so many times, and also going into the
you share that with my family when it comes to, like, how they feel about me.
Yeah, their expectations.
That's why I love you already, man, because you're like in tune with, like, my son and my daughter and my wife.
Yeah, honestly, like, I just don't because every year, like, we the fans see the hills, so obviously, like, the board sees the hills and everything, but we never fulfill all of our hills. Like, you know, one year we bought Thomas Partey, we should have got that other guy from Lyon as well. We should have got another central midfielder. This year, another box of bucks. We didn't do it. You know, we didn't do it. Like, it happens all the time. Like, other teams, if they have those, they fill them every year. That's why they keep coming, you know, to the top of the table. You know, I just don't have any sort of confidence right now in the squad. I just don't. It's been far too many times where, like, things are just not going right. You know, like a couple years ago, you know, when we was in 5th place. You know, and we could have got 3rd, but then, you know, Granit Xhaka falls somebody. You know, it happens all the time.
Do you know the analogy I kind of use for this? It's like, don't marry a woman with small breasts and hope that she's somehow naturally going to grow bigger ones. You know, and I feel like that's what I feel like. That's.
I love when I'm doing a show that's not on my own channel.
Love that, Mark.
That's the content.
Yeah. I feel like we're in.
That this is an open mic show, and
I feel like we're in bed with Arsenal. We chose Arsenal, and then everyone somehow wants us to act like someone different,
like the porn star version of Arsenal.
Well, yeah, Chelsea being the porn star in this equation. Chelsea.
We want to, yeah.
I get
We
what
want
you're
to act like Arsenalison.
Do you know why I'm relatively happy? Oh, not relatively happy. I'm pretty happy at the moment.
Well, you have a young, healthy child.
Well, we've never been, when it comes to Arsenal, we've never been a Galactico style club, and for a really long period of time, I felt that we lost our identity. Now, if you go back to our Arsene Wenger identity, it was about either bringing through youth, uncovering rough gems, pulling people out of the French league. And you look at the team right now, and it's interesting that it's an Arteta team, and it's an Arteta and Edu team who were both incepted in that Arsene Wenger style play. And you look at everything we did in the middle when we kind of fell apart, not kind of, we did fall apart. And it's really nice now to look at what Arsenal is doing now and look at what Arsenal did when we were successful and see synergies between the two. We've never been go out and spend 110 million pounds on someone and have them bomb. It's never been us. And I don't understand why Arsenal fans keep screaming for us to do this. You fell in love with a club for a reason. You fell in love for a set of ideals. You fell in love for a set of style of play. And now because you're so glory seeking, because you ate at the top table when you started to support Arsenal and we were a number one club, that you can't imagine us in any other form.
Yeah. I
mean, that's a very good point. But the thing is like once you, like if anything, once you set that standard, you always want to keep up with that standard. You know, for like 20 years, top four was our standard. And
you do, but you also have to kind of
to accept.
You do, and the worst thing that ever happened to Arsenal is Ivan Gazidis coming out and saying that we would compete with the Bayern Munichs of the world. That was the worst thing because
it was boneheaded.
Because and charging the highest ticket prices, because really football, when it's owned by people with the mentality of our owners, and in general, unless you're one of the outliers, it is a cyclical game. Most sports are much more cyclical. Football is not as cyclical because of the rules, but Max, I think you put it perfectly. Not the breast thing. Although,
it's good.
No, the breast thing specifically.
That was the hottest part of the podcast, but the truest part is, if you are an Arsenal supporter, and I've said this a million times and it sounds preachy, and especially after missing out on the Wembley final, I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. This will be the last word because we got to head out. But if the reason you follow Arsenal is purely about wins and losses, if it's purely to win at all costs, in all circumstances, under any circumstance, and there's no tolerance for rebuilds, for anything like that, fine, that's up to you. I can't share that with you because the reason I follow Arsenal is because of Mark and Max and Marky and Steve and Rio, the guy who thankfully he might have fallen asleep at the bar. But I want to win everything in sight. I want to win I want to win quadruples. I want to win everything. I like where the club is heading right now. 2 years ago, I didn't like where the club was heading at all. I felt like there was no hope and we're spinning our wheels. So, am I willing to wait a year or two for the glory that I hope is coming? And if it doesn't come, I'm hoping that we're at least still on the track to get it a year or two later. Yeah.
I don't think it's 2 years away, Mike. I looked at that performance day and I thought that's 2 players away. 2. When you look at the size of our rebuild, under Emery, even you look at the size of the rebuild when Arteta came in, to get to a point this quickly where we're talking about 2, not 6 or 7, or full-blown shipping everyone out, it's a very good place for Arsenal to be in. Just Arsenal fans just need to find a little bit of chill and just I don't want to use the word process. I hate the word process, but just let it play out over the next 12 months. If we're shit in 12 months, then you can crack it.
They started using that term as like a joking thing, but to your point, Max, it's a gradually building, like Mike alluded earlier. I don't even want to know what's going down right there in the bottom of your screen, Mike. Earlier they've been turning the wage bill around. We've been getting rid of the contracts. We've been doing a lot of building blocks. This past summer was a massive upgrade to our starting 11. To your point, we're a star. Imagine, and I know it's really difficult, but imagine if all these wages are being cleared for Vlahovic. Like, just that would change the perspective in a lot, and it would change not only the perspective and the optimism of the fans, but it also marks a massive different way and a different approach that Arsenal hadn't been at for a really long time, because this marks the age thing that they've continued to do, looking for very youthful players. But the fact that they're willing to commit that amount of capital, if they're convinced that there is a young star out there, I think that's a massive statement signing if they do manage to get it. So I guess I'm just piggybacking on what Max says. I'm kind of on board with the patience and process, as crazy as that word has become now.
And if you're not, more power to you. Let's all just be nice to each other. Let's all give each other the ability to have our own opinions, and let's keep doing these open mic shows. God forbid Sunday we win and we actually have a nice, hey, we're back up in 4th or 5th place, type of show to do.
Relegated.
Yeah, well, so we will be back probably, what is it going to be, 5:00 p.m. UK on Sunday, noon Eastern time. We would love to see you all back. I'm not even going to try to translate that into what time it is for you, Max. Hopefully time where you have clothes on, but this has been Lee Judges TV. It's the open mic night. Thank you to the new duck breakers that have joined us tonight, Mark. And thank you to everyone that's returned. And once again, we're going to end the show with this. Please consider donating to Gooners versus Cancer. It is an amazing cause, and you can get an amazing prize. And I made an amazing video as a complete novice to making videos, and this is the video right here. Come on, you Gooners.